Hey guys, welcome back to the channel where this time we're going to be doing a little something special. Um, First and foremost, I do want to appreciate everyone who has subscribed to the channel. We just hit 100 subscribers. It's all loved, it's all appreciated. I appreciate all the comments, all the likes, all the views. Thank you so much, and let's continue to watch it grow. So today we're going to be looking at my personal top 10 lightsaber duels in all of Star Wars. Now, when I say lightsaber duels in all of Star Wars, I do mean all of Star Wars. So I'm including all of the animated shows, live action shows, different branches more so than just the main films. And just a reminder, this is my personal list. So, if your list is different, please let me know what your favorite one is and how you would rank it. And love to hear that feedback. So let's just dive into it. First up is going to be from Attack of the Clones, the duel between Yoda and Dooku. That's going to be number 10. Um, and the reason I include this one is even though the movement with Yoda could be a little corny, still at that moment, seeing it in theaters, that's your first time seeing Yoda with a lightsaber. And it was just cool to see. It was just one of those like mic drop moments where you see Yoda pull out the lightsaber and see that he can fight, you know. Um, so that earns it a spot in the top 10. Number 9 is going to be the duel between Darth Vader and Obi-Wan Kenobi on the that moon planet. I forget the name, but from the Obi-Wan Kenobi series. Um, and this duel had a lot of emotional impact. As much as I didn't personally like the Kenobi series, I thought this particular duel was very well done. That confrontation between Obi-Wan and that remainder of Anakin Skywalker that still remained inside of Vader. Um, the lighting was an odd choice, but for emotional impact, I'm gonna give it number 9. Number 8, going back to my childhood, I'm gonna do General Grievous versus the group of Jedi on Hypori. Mundi, Ayla Secura, Kukruk, Shakti, to name a few. This was our first introduction of General Grievous in anything, and this kind of set the tone for him just being this terrifying Jedi massacring monster. Um, I thought it was really well done. I think it served the animation well. Seeing Grievous use his lightsabers in so many different ways, and the way he just effortlessly, took out this group of Jedi, just awesome. So that's gonna be number 8. Number 7, from the 2008 Clone Wars series, gonna do the duel between Darth Sidious and Darth Maul and his brother Savage Opress. It's not often in Star Wars that we get to see Sith going up against each other. When you see a duel with all red lightsabers, it's just a cool thing. And the fact that Sidious is basically just toying with them and, kind of proves that no matter how much power they want to obtain, he is always going to be the one in control. He kills Savage and then basically cripples Maul down to his knees. And just so effortlessly, and seeing Darth Sidious in action is always a fun thing. Number 6 is going to be from the Clone Wars Season 7, the duel between Ahsoka Tano and Darth Maul on Mandalore. This is one of the most visually well shot and just beautifully done fights in all of the Star Wars animation, I feel. You really see these two at the peak of their power. you know Visually, it's the scenery, taking place on Mandalore. It's just such a well done fight, and the weight of Ahsoka not even really knowing what she's fighting for, and Maul trying to tell her what the grand plan is. So Number five, gonna do Ahsoka Tano versus Darth Vader from Star Wars Rebels. It's not one of the longest or most in-depth fights, um, and I do think it is cheapened by the fact that Ahsoka is kind of pulled from the end of the fight due to the Ezra being in the world between worlds. But as far as emotional impact and it being like the first time that these two confront each other, after Anakin's fall to the dark side, the emotional weight, the dialogue, it's top tier. Number four, we're gonna go with Luke Skywalker versus Darth Vader on the Death Star in Return of the Jedi. Um, this is one of those that is a lot more of an emotionally weighted fight. You have Palpatine trying to push Luke into going over the edge into the dark side. You have Vader just not really wanting to kill Luke, kind of just being on the defense in this fight and invoking Luke's anger to really get him to try to strike Vader down. The emotional stakes in this fight are really high, and it's one of my favorite scenes in all of Star Wars. Because ultimately this leads to the redemption of Vader. So. All right, number three is going to be the Duel of the Fates, the duel between Darth Maul, Qui-Gon, and Obi-Wan on Naboo in The Phantom Menace. Now, it goes without saying, this fight was a first for a lot of Star Wars. This was our first real two-on-one fight that we got to see. This was, the double-bladed lightsaber that Maul used. And like I said, the stakes of this fight are, kind of shape the galaxy of Star Wars. It's called Duel of the Fates because it is the fate of Anakin Skywalker. You know, Qui-Gon losing his life in this fight changes the trajectory of how Anakin is to be trained and how he develops. So as far as just being a visually really cool fight and the stakes, it warrants a high spot on my list. All right, number two is going to be Luke Skywalker versus Darth Vader on Bespin. Now, visually, the imagery from this fight just screams Star Wars to me because I remember it so iconically from watching that movie when I was young. Again, it's Luke's first test, his first, real challenge with the lightsaber going up against Darth Vader. The first time you see Darth Vader with the lightsaber, ultimately climaxing with the reveal that Darth Vader is his father. So as far as the visuals, the actual fighting, the stakes, and how it plays into the story, it's one of the best fights in Star Wars. And number one, and I think this would be a lot of people's number one, Obi-Wan versus Anakin on Mustafar. It's the battle of the heroes. It's the final fight of the prequels, and we got kind of build up to this moment where Anakin has fallen on this dark path. Obi-Wan has set out to stop him. He's not sure if he can bring himself to kill Anakin, but he knows that he has to defend himself and he has to give this fight 100%. And you see where these two people that have trained with each other for so many years are pretty evenly matched when it comes to, knowing how to defend from the other one's strikes. And then obviously being on the lava planet of Mustafar and the scenery and just the music, it's a perfect combination of really the high stakes of what this fight represents. So that's going to be number one, and that's going to be all I got for you in this video. I appreciate you watching. Like I said, let me know which fights are in your top 10 in the comments, and as always, may the force be with you. Now let's blow up that like button and go home.